Welcome back. You're with SABC News. We've got a panel discussion going on violence against women and specifically children. And KHUMO, I just want to pick up with the point that you made before we went to break, that there are specific acts in place that our courts use to deal with such cases, but do people actually know their rights? And I want to ask, is there enough education for women and children that when they suffer abuse or violence, do they know where to go? Do they know what to do? Do they know their rights?
No, the answer is no. There's not enough awareness, because I still find that even in the upper LSM groups, you know, my peers, my colleagues, my people that I do work with, people that I live with, this day and age don't know where to go. They don't know what to do, and they don't know what their rights are. And yet there are all these offices in place that are being put there for us to access in a case where we experience abuse. So abuse is not really only for the poor as well. It cuts across all economic lines, and it cuts across all color. So there is a need really for awareness to also be positioned in that way to reach across sectors.
And is there support for families who have suffered such violence and abuse?
The support is there, but I mean, it takes one knowing where to get it. It actually takes one experiencing abuse to know where to go. And it is costly in terms of money, it's costly in terms of time, in terms of just peace of mind to be able to operate a normal life. Because you have to go from pillar to post, from one side of town to the other, trying to find the right officers that can assist you. And things are so decentralized in that, you know, the SAPS systems are over there, and then the courts are on the other hand. And again, if you want a protection, and if you actually find yourself in a situation where that protection order has been contravened by the perpetrator after it has been granted, it's another process altogether. It's not a situation of them being arrested or them being charged immediately.
So what do parents and children and communities need to know in order to keep their children protected?
They need to know what legislation is out there. They need to familiarize themselves with their community workers. The DPSA is doing so much work now in terms of making sure that community workers are much more visible and actually go door to door to families and to households to give people their rights, to make them aware of their rights. So OPG really is quite a great initiative because it's opening its doors to the people of South Africa.
And Mr. Botha, we've seen now just in this most recent case of the toddlers in Diepsloot, how can we ensure that those sort of issues are brought to book? How can we ensure that our judicial system is fully operating?
Well, before I answer, Natasha, I wanted to say that, you know, that we've got centers, your one-stop centers like your Tutuzela, and I think it's important that communities are encouraged, you know, Natasha, those that are experiencing abuse, to go to these centers. I mean, major hospitals throughout the country have, you know, Tutuzelas, and it's important, Natasha, to say to South Africans, here are these services that are free, and let people access them. But to come back to your question, I think it's important, Natasha, to again say to South Africa that we can't just, and I can't repeat more, Natasha, that we can't fold our arms, you know, and all of us, and especially men in particular, Natasha, you know, in South Africa, that it's about time to say, yenza kahle, I mean, your brothers for life, your one-man can. I mean, all of these things, Natasha, that it means that as men in South Africa, we need to say, how do we continue not only to support women and children, but how do we ensure that we transform what one would call toxic gender norms? How do we talk among each other? How do we, you know, call each other to account? How do we hold each other accountable? You know, various communities. But also, how do we ensure that the police, you know, are supported? The police do proper investigative work. How do we ensure that as communities we become, ears and eyes of our police, men and women, so that we do not continuously blame them when we know that if they have information, they could do a sterling work, but more often than not, Natasha, we withhold information from the police. And I think that in itself is problematic because police can also do so much. And it's important that we will also come on board and support them and ensure that communities do have confidence in the police to know that cases will be properly investigated, statements will be correctly written down, and police, would also have confidence to know that it is communities, Natasha, who will continue to assist us because we're in this thing together. It's not only government. I mean, the president, President Zuma, had said something profound the past few days. And President Zuma said how shocked he was. It's important that we support the president. It's important to say that as the president has spoken, what do we do to mobilize each other so that we do not fold arms, we do not look the other way, Natasha. We are in this thing together, all of us.
So then what needs to happen in communities to make sure that they are mobilized and that they support their local police community?